Today, I want to talk about ex-Jehovah's Witnesses and are they actually happy in their life after leaving the organization, the Jehovah's Witness organization? Are they happy in their life? We're going to discover it. I'm going to read a couple of Reddit stories about this topic. We're going to talk about awakening, healing of people, and what happens when you're leaving. Is it possible to realize a normal life after leaving a cult or Jehovah's Witness organization? Let's talk about it. So I've seen a couple of Reddit stories about this topic and I wanted to get into it because I think it's a very important topic and I think a lot of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses will find themselves in this story. So I'm going to read it for you. I got a Reddit story here and it says, this is something I recently heard from a close friend who is basically PMO, so physically in, mentally out in the organization. She told me she has seen many people who left Jehovah's Witnesses and all of them supposedly ended badly, living as alcoholics, becoming promiscuous and getting divorced, etc. And because of that, she said something completely absurd. Even if the organization is wrong, it must still be the truth. Of course, not every ex-Jehovah's Witness ends up miserable, but let's be generous for a moment and assume that some people really do struggle after leaving. Does that logically mean the religion is true? Leaving a high control cult and then functioning as a healthy member of society is not easy. Someone who spent most of their life deeply trapped in a cult may need far more effort than the average person just to build a normal life. But no one would ever say that a crime is justified just because a victim fails to recover perfectly afterwards. If someone points at ex-Jehovah's Witnesses who are struggling and uses that to criticize them, that is secondary victimization. It's a shameless way of shifting responsibility from the abuser to the victim. Even if your life is hard, after leaving, you don't owe anyone a successful ending. So what I think is very important here in this Reddit story is this person says like this other person is telling them that leaving the organization is always kind of ending into miserable things. Well, I know people, and they're talking about becoming an alcoholic or whatever. I know people that have become an alcoholic within the organization because they were so unhappy and they weren't free and they couldn't live the life that was most happy for themselves. So I don't think that it's necessarily afterwards. I've said this before as well. Like, you are trying to get in front of everything that you've missed. You're starting doing everything that you've missed in the world because you've never lived in the world. You start doing things that you've never done before. You're trying out new things, and it can also be destructive things. And I think everyone has that. You know, not everyone is an angel, even if they're trying to look like it. And it's also trying to be an angel for yourself and for other people is not necessarily good for you. And it also doesn't always benefit people if they are running for someone else. Yeah, so I don't agree. Like, does that mean it's the truth because people are starting to maybe abuse alcohol or whatever because they are unhappy or maybe they want to try out things? That doesn't mean it's necessarily the truth. And also getting into finding oneself when you let go of the organization, everything you believed in, or what your parents told you when you were raised as a Jehovah's Witness or in another cult as well. People told you if you were older and you start joining yourself, because there's also a big difference between being raised in a cult and actually joining yourself, maybe being indoctrinated. I also have a story about that. I'm going to talk about that later. You are trying to find yourself, and not throughout the things that people told you are, but throughout the things that you have discovered in your life to be true now. And then waking up is a very, very difficult, I've been talking about this today as well. It's a very difficult experience. And you also kind of start believing things because you are experiencing them that they are true. And that doesn't necessarily mean they are true. So you're like, oh, I'm going out every weekend, maybe like I used to do. I thought like this is my life now, and I needed to do that because I felt I fell behind on things, and I wanted to be there for people. I wanted to be a kind person and a fun person, and which I was never allowed to be. Even when I was a child, I was smiling at adults because I felt like I need to be a sweet girl, and that is also possibly a traumatic experience in a sense because I wasn't allowed to. And also I needed to be kind and sweet to be accepted, and I needed to listen to my parents. Oftentimes sometimes that is a thing, of course, within parents and children dynamics. But yeah, I think I really needed to feel what life was about, and I had to discover that myself. And I think a lot of people have that, and awakening is very painful because you start to realize that your parents or your organization or the cult you were in or the religion you were in were lying to you. The world around you was lying to you, and it was not the way you thought it was. And it's a very painful experience. I've experienced that myself as well. I was raised as a Jehovah's Witness, and I left when I was 15 years old. I really locked myself in the bathroom, and it was very painful, very difficult to be in a family and I didn't necessarily want to be in, an organization that I didn't want to be in. So, and joining with people that I didn't want to be around with, I didn't choose them. So, and I think that's the difference as well. You didn't choose these people if you're not choosing to, like, you don't choose these people if you're raised as Jehovah's Witness, and you see through the people and how fake they are, actually joining because you felt like it was true for you, but then maybe start realizing later on that it wasn't the right thing, not a good thing. It was not good for your finances, maybe not good for your life and how you felt and your time spent within the organization. Talking about being an ex-Jehovah's Witness, but it can also be another cult. And here's another story. It says, I spent 8 years with a secret Jehovah's Witness and I'm traumatized. So this is a person that was in a relationship for 8 years. And it says, I just got out of an 8-year nightmare with a Jehovah's Witness who lived a total double life. He did everything forbidden, smoking, drinking, huge parties, and had 2 kids out of wedlock. So I assumed he was out for good. Instead, I was trapped in a cycle where his guilt over dating a worldly woman triggered erratic, almost psychotic behavior. He eventually used the cult as his escape hatch, running back to marry a fellow Jehovah's Witness. He made sure to contact me right before the wedding just to throw his new life in my face. I'm realizing now how deep the brainwashing went and how much of his true self he was actually hiding. Has anyone else dealt with a specific religious narcissistic psychopath? I have no idea who I was in love with. 8 years down the drain. So what is very important to know is that people that are not necessarily fully out of the organization or still in its web, they are so afraid, they have become so afraid, become so indoctrinated that they are hurting people outside of it, because worldly people aren't necessarily bad people. And that's also something that I needed to learn back in the day, but also worldly people aren't perfect. That's also something that I need to learn. So this person is actually like doing these worldly things, but still being considered as a Jehovah's Witness. I don't know how, because I don't know, this is not good, but apparently a lot of people can be a Jehovah's Witness, but not fully go for it, or like they have to be like where's the corner. But yeah, of course they're like you need to choose some things. You need to choose yourself. That is what you have to do. But then drinking, smoking, huge parties, whatever, is not necessarily a Jehovah's Witness thing or a religious thing, or good like godly driven, I guess. So I don't know, like this person, you've been together with this person for 8 years, and all of a sudden he starts to become completely psychotic because he's doing things that aren't necessarily part of the Jehovah's Witness culture and the organization. It's not necessarily good to do those things, but maybe that's also, I'm not saying, like with the other story, they're talking about that creating accidents or incidents with other people aren't necessarily good. Of course not. And making people miserable by drinking a lot and partying and whatever, but being so scared, it's so, and I know this person cannot really do much about it, but you are absolutely hurting someone, and just because it's a worldly person, you don't have to hurt them, because you don't know what is happening. But this person has severe mental issues, that is clear, because they're saying they're Jehovah's Witness apparently, and they are not kind of like out, but not also in, and they're starting dating another person, and they're together with this person, and then you don't know what to do with this person because they for some reason choose to go back, and you don't know, and like you've wasted 8 years of your life basically. And it was very hard with this person to be with. And yeah, some people do experience, and also a lot of people are experiencing severe mental issues and problems. And I think a lot of these issues lay in that you don't know necessarily how things in life work. You have to really learn things, and then like normal people have not that much hard of a time, because when they were younger they had the time, and they were like some of these parents were very open, in like the worldly parents were open for their kids to develop however they wanted to be and whoever they wanted to be. And I was not necessarily allowed, yeah, like kind of, but not necessarily. And it's hard to, like, you're extremely isolated, you're fully isolated from the world. Well, I was fully isolated from the world, because no, these people are not good, and these people are good in our organization, so these people were basically always good. But also you see like that you cannot trust people within this organization either. So I felt like I cannot trust these people in the organization. I can also not trust people in real life. Like, what is happening? Where am I safe? That is something that you have to find for yourself. Where is your safety? Yeah, and creating incidents, or like creating a lot of chaos for other people in their life. So you see this person dealing with a lot of mental issues, but still that is not an excuse to do bad things or lie to people, or like immediately drop into a new relationship, and because of your psychotic breakdowns. And this, I know this can happen, but it's difficult, because we have learned to believe in certain things, and a lot of people don't understand that. A lot of people don't understand that you have learned to live and react in a certain way, and people don't understand that. So you're like, but this is good. These things are good, and also maybe they're not good, but you've learned that they're good things, and other people are not doing these good things apparently. And it's very chaotic. So it's very chaotic, and you don't know you just don't know. You're discovering later on in life how to deal with the people in life. And I'm also still working on a lot of things that I don't know, and I need to understand, and also want to understand, because that is, it feels like, for me, like, being very honest, it feels like I need to discover these things. This is where my life is for, that I'm feeling guided. I don't know what it is. Like, I'm not a Christian necessarily, but I know I'm feeling guided by something, and that I have life lessons, and I'm trying to do the best I can, and being honest and real, and feel everything, that it's okay to feel that as well, instead of it being too much, or being raised very fearful, like being afraid of everything. I don't have that anymore. But I can tell that, and also I was later on having a lot of difficulty hanging with people, or like being with people, or being with a lot of people, or being part of a group setting, and what is my place in there, and that people are usually very loud in there, and I'm not necessarily like that, but it's also maybe a personality trait, so that can be a thing as well. But that makes it way harder to live among people now, because you're feeling kind of scared, and you need to work on that. Like, I have a lot of fear issues, and I think a lot of people leaving a cult, or being an Jehovah's Witness, are feeling a lot of fear, because you have to live in a certain way, and being isolated, and it's not good for you. It's not good for you to be isolated as a child, and later on as well. So the fear comes up of being part of this planet, and how are you part of this planet? Because this is what I've learned, and this is what I'm doing now, and I don't even know what I'm doing. What am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. A lot of people are dealing with losing everything, so they're being shunned, disfellowshipped, and they're losing people. So they're being distanced by the organization, by their family members, by their partner, by their children, by their uncles, aunts, nephews, cousins, whatever. People are losing everything in these organizations if you're not part of it, or like you're part of it anymore, and you're going your own way. Or you're like, your partner is a Jehovah's Witness, for instance, and you're doing your own thing. They can be crucial. It can be crucial. You can lose everything just in 1 second. Someone says like, don't talk to this person anymore, and then they all start leaving you. They run away. And also seeing people around you, I feel that as well. People being traumatized because of this organization is very painful to deal with, because you have to sit with these people. You're talking to these people. You love these people, and they're so traumatized, severely traumatized. because of being in this organization, being baptized and whatever, and then being very hurt. So yeah, that's very painful to see and experience. And that is also something that you need to heal in the end. And it takes time. It takes time. It takes a lot of time. So you're not mad at people anymore, awakening from everything. Like this is not my thing, or these people are not my thing. This is not what I believe in. Like, and then you discover what is for you, and that is a big road, and maybe even a lifelong road to walk. And then you hope you find peace within it. Yeah. So yeah, that was it. That's what I wanted to talk about. I want to talk about this so much because I really want to make a video again, even with this extreme heat, but I really want to make a video again. And I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and comments down here. Let me know what you think about this video, about this topic. What are your experiences awakening, being in a cult and leaving, and like really let me know what you think. Thank you so much for your support. The people that are coming back, I see people coming back. I see people saying like I'm binge watching your videos, and like it's extremely, it's very rewarding for me, and I find it very lovely. Thank you so much everyone for watching, and